Welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast, where we discuss Dynasty strategy, rankings, and all things NFL. So get ready to geek out on fantasy football with your host, Rich Dotson.
Welcome into the college show powered by Dynasty Nerds. That's not an official name. It just sounded good as I was starting. So the show has no name. No name right now, but this is Dynasty Nerds saying, hey, we know that you love college ball, and we want to make sure that we are getting you guys the content you're looking for. So each and every week, we will be here during the season giving you some updates on the college football landscape in the incoming classes. I've done many shows with this guy over the years. He's one of my closest friends. Jared Wackerly, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. This is what I love to talk about. Prospect. It's prospect season. Well, technically not prospect season, but for us, it never ends. So
true sicko.
yeah, right. True sicko. It's never too early to start looking into seeing the value of those 2026 draft picks. And we'll get into 2027 down the road.
Oh, we will.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped.
Absolutely. And making his Dynasty Nerd show debut, I am very excited to introduce Jagger May, a guy that I've been watching his content for a while. I think he's really, really sharp and super entertaining. So I'm really excited to have him on this show. Him and Andrew Mott will be rotating weeks, so you'll get to know both of them very well on this platform. Jagger, how you doing, my guy?
I am so excited. For those out there who know me, I finally conned someone to let me talk about this before actual rookie season. Like Jared said, it's always prospect season for me. It's just it's who's going to give me the mic.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, we thought we would start off with going through our top 10s. Now, this is very early on in the process. There's only been 1 week of college football action. I get it. There's week 0. So some of you will be like, oh, it's actually 2 weeks. But 1 real week of college football action at this point. But we already know a little bit from what we saw last year and the small sample size this year. And this is going to give us at least a glimpse into the quarterback class and the top 10 guys that we have that are draft eligible. So, yes, there might be some freshmen and some sophomore that are intriguing names, but they are not going to be part of this list. Only guys that could hypothetically get drafted this year. Now, I know that there's a couple names that are like, that dude's probably going back to school. And that might be the case, but we included anyone that was draft eligible in this show. So we are going to go 10 through 5 and reveal each of 10 through 6 are our bottom 5 of the group. And then we'll get to our top 5 of the group. So Jared, I'll give you the honors. Give me your number 10 through number 6 quarterbacks right now that are fantasy football and college football draft eligible this coming season.
I do want to preface this with saying, because we talk campus to Canton league sometimes, we play devy. For me personally, I don't know how you guys approach this list, but for me, this was strictly NFL draft prospects, and for me, it's I'm building my big board from the 2025 season for what the information we have right now, and obviously some the previous years that they've played and stuff going into that.
Sure.
So this is going to change a lot for me, but as of right now, I'm just putting these guys on the wall in this order, ready to change them depending on how the rest of the season goes. So, right off the bat, number 10, I got Taylen Green from Arkansas, super athletic kid, 6'6", has all the physical tools you want. I'm not going to, do you want me to get into the reasoning here in the 10 through 6 or just giving you
We'll get to them in just a second. So just give me your list for now, and then we'll break down some of the similarities and differences of our list.
Cool. Perfect. All right. So Taylen Green, you got there at 10, John Mateer from Oklahoma, Nico from UCLA. How do you say his last name, guys?
I think it's
Iamaleava.
Iamaleava. Lava.
Iamaleava. If you didn't ask me, I could have said it. I literally practiced before the show. It's like part of my team, unique New York.
Hey, hey, we're Dynasty Nerds. Pronunciations is never our thing, so it's all good. That's why I said Nico. I'll just stay with Nico. And then surprisingly, dude, I got Arch. Next here. Obviously coming into the year, ton of hype, but we could talk about it as we go through it. And then I have Carson Beck.
Okay, so Carson Beck at 6. So we have two of the same guys inside of our 6 through 10 there, and then you have one guy that's in my top 5 that I have. So let's get over to Jagger. Jagger, give me your 10 through 6.
And just to give the same context, when you cover redraft half the time and then like your real passions here, sometimes you got to cram people in. And just to say who I didn't want to get in here, I am a diehard Arkansas fan. I love Taylen Green, and because of that, I have nerfed him intentionally. I was like, you're going to wait. You're going to talk about 10 other people before we get to Taylen Green. So that is why he's not in here. I've not graded him. And I have my own grading system where I put it out and it spits out something 0 through 100. And at 10 is Fernando Mendoza. 9, it's Sam Leavitt from Arizona State. 8, John Mateer from Oklahoma. 7, Carson Beck. 6, Cade Klubnik. There's some notables that are in there, but ultimately this draft class is better than the last. I can't really get much worse. So let's put it that way.
That is absolutely true. So we have some similar names here. I have Fernando Mendoza as well at 10, so we have him in the exact same spot. I have one guy here at 9 that I don't think either one of you mentioned, and I'm a little bit of a truther for this kid, Jackson Arnold out of Auburn. He transferred there this past season. Then I've got Nico at 8 as well. Iamaleava, I don't know, close. Sam Leavitt I have at 7, and then I have Carson Beck at 6. So we definitely have some overlap there. I know you guys both mentioned Green real quick. I don't know much about this kid, so tell me a little bit more about Green and why he should be on our radar.
Yeah, so he started his career at Boise State. When he was there, he was really raw, just a raw athlete, 6'6", 235. Then he transferred to Arkansas, played there this year and last year. And I feel like since he transferred, he's really developed more as a passer. But, I mean, from a physical tool standpoint, like he's got elite athleticism to go along with a really good arm. I think it's just refining the passing game is like where he needs to improve. And I mean, week 1 was really good for him. I think he threw for 6 touchdowns and like a 77% completion percentage or something. But yeah, so this year in the SEC is going to be huge for him, because when you see those tools on a guy like that we like in the fantasy football world, like he's going to give you that rushing floor, like that's like NFL scouts are going to be drooling over him. So if he can really show that he grew as a passer and decision maker, I don't know where he'll go. Like probably like day 2, possibly.
I agree. Maybe day 2 is a bit aggressive, but these are the types of dudes where you're like, well, why is this guy getting drafted? Like Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Tyler Huntley, to where they can come in and fit in a system right away and generate some type of offense, even if they aren't a great passer. And someone like Fernando Mendoza, who I have on here, it's by default. I don't have a draftable grade on him. Some like Taylen Green, let's put it this way. By default, he's probably going to be there next week once I get something on there. And it's just like the tools like Jared mentioned.
Yep. I didn't scout Fernando either. So he's the guy that like I had listed here, but I just,
it's fine. Just don't worry about it.
And Jackson Arnold, same Garrett. I got him written down, Dante Moore, like I didn't have him on my list, but he's a guy that's recruited highly.
Out of high school.
Could move up depending on how the year goes.
So Jackson Darnold and Mateer are really interesting because I see them in a similar light, even though I have one in and one out. Both are kind of undersized players that use some good athletic ability to be able to get things done. But they do lack that prototypical size and like special like rocket cannon of an arm type. So for you guys, how do you see those two players? Do you guys see them in similar lights as well?
I'll let you go ahead, Jagger.
For me with John Mateer, and full disclosure, guys, I have an article just over the same topic that's going to come out on the Dynasty Nerds website where I lay this out in detail. John Mateer is one where he's on my circle to watch list, and I put that on here. Like right now, his grade is being held down from what I saw when he was at Washington State, since I've looked at his OU tape, and I know it's just one game, it just looked like a different player. He was one of these screen merchants who never really threw across the middle of the field. And the biggest alarming thing that I saw with Mateer is that the offense didn't allow him to make adjustments at the line of scrimmage. And this is me getting like sicko mode, nitty gritty, but there were times they were 6 men on the line of scrimmage, only 5 linemen, and he didn't call or do anything to protect himself. And those are the red flags that I try to grade for. At the OU game, I'm like, oh, wow, this is an adult offense. Someone's got big boy pants on. So this is somebody that once he gets stiffer competition, which he will with Michigan this next week, if I see more improvement, he's going to move up into that second round. Cause like you mentioned these Jackson Arnolds, I call him Jackson Darts now. I'm like, wow, this is a really toolsy guy who can scoot around, and the right team has something. And that's what I see with both Arnold and Mateer.
Let's get to Nico here. We both had him inside of our top 10, and I noticed you did not mention him, Jagger. Is that because he didn't make your top 10 or because he's in your top 5?
He's criminally high if you're a Tennessee fan. I actually fear the Tennessee Vols people on here, and that's just because objectively looking at the tape and ignoring everything I've heard this offseason, I think there's a pretty decent player. I'm sorry, Vols fans. Like, I know you might name a sewage system after him at this point. You guys are that petty.
I hear you. So let's touch on him real quick, and then you can tell us in a little bit exactly where you ended up putting him. But this was a guy that was, depending on their grading service, the top recruit in the country when he came to Tennessee. Has a lot of, like, walks off the bus, and he just looks like that guy, right? He's 6'5", 6'6", depending on the place you're looking at. He's got the great arm. He's a really good athlete. Everything there, at least on paper, is exactly what you want. However, last year was just okay. I think maybe a little underwhelming for some people. And then there was the whole big mess with the recruiting and wanting more NIL money and all of this stuff. And he ends up taking less and ends up at UCLA of all places. And it was just a total mess for Nico.
Yeah.
So for you, Jared, how much does all of that noise and all of that factor into him not being inside your top 5? Or is it just him as a player? There's something you're not sold on?
Well, you know me, like I ignore that noise stuff because I'm not there. Like I'm not in the meeting rooms. Like I don't know exactly what went down. Like you can listen to the media and let them frame it how they frame it. But I see a young kid that's trying to capitalize on his opportunity. And maybe it went poorly for him. You know, it clearly did. You know, they weren't going to pay him what he wanted. So he went to UCLA. And do I think that was the best landing spot? No. But I still am just going to evaluate him based on what I see on tape. And, you know, I'll let the draft capital and everything else fit him in where he needs to be eventually. But I guess where my concerns are with Nico is just the consistency of his accuracy. I think he tends to miss high pretty often in his deep ball. Like he throws an uncatchable deep ball too often. Like I went to a Tennessee game last year, witnessed it in person, broke down some of his tape last year, and it was like consistently inconsistent. However, he has all the tools that you want. So I think it's a mechanics thing. So I think if he can clean that up, become a more consistent passer, like he'll fly up the draft boards. But he needs to win. He hasn't really, you know, done anything to put the team on his back or you know, at Tennessee, like last year, the playoffs, it did not go well for him or that team. Right. So I don't know, Jagger, like where am I wrong here?
To be fair, he did run into the buzzsaw that was Ohio State last year. Like they went from a very meh team to just unstoppable in the playoffs. So that was a tough first round pull for him, unfortunately. Jagger, I want to have you wait for a second. I want to hear when we get inside the top 5. I want to hear you glow about this guy. Okay. Because I want him to have his moment inside the top 5 and getting the love he deserves. So let's touch real quickly on Sam Leavitt. Did you guys both have him in the top or in the 10 through 6 or did one of you not?
I had him at 5, so I did not say his name.
Okay. And then you had him, Jagger?
Who we talking about?
Sam Leavitt.
Sam Leavitt. Oh, I had him. Sam Leavitt is 7.
Okay.
No,
I feel like
sorry,
that
no,
range
he's 9. He's 9.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's all that range. They're all the same, like you said. Like it's one bucket of guys. Like he's a fun college guy I like rooting for in college. But if my team drafts him, I'm stressed. So let's put that way.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. And even though this seems like a deeper quarterback class right now, and we'll see guys can still emerge and guys can add things to their tape that really move them up boards. Right now, if I'm being honest, for as excited as I was a year ago about this class, or maybe not even a year ago, maybe 7-8 months ago, I'm feeling a little less. I'm feeling whelmed. Not overwhelmed, not underwhelmed, just whelmed about this class because without somebody stepping up and just being otherworldly, there's just a lot of like fringe round 1, round 2 type guys. Like I don't see anybody I'm like, I have to get him top 5 with potentially one exception, but we'll get to him.
By the time we get to February, watch, we're going to be completely different. Like,
we're going to be like, oh my gosh, best class ever. Jagger, real quick, touch on Carson Beck. What are your thoughts on Carson Beck, a guy that was at Georgia, went to Miami, had a great week 1 win for that Miami team, a guy that was talked about as a potential number 1 overall pick last year, and obviously has fallen from grace a little bit, but has a chance to redeem himself. How do you feel about Carson Beck?
Well, to spoil some scouting notes, my strengths for him: prototypical pocket passer, weaknesses, processing, Snapchat. I don't know what he is as a person or a player beyond the fact that he has all the physical tools. It's just like at Georgia, you could kind of explain it away. Well, there's no Todd Monken, where there's no Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey. They have a bunch of Shane Gillis AI generated images out there running around. Like you can explain it away, but he just doesn't seem like a good processor. And I think we're going to trick ourselves into the Spencer Rattler thing. That's been my comp, even though it's not a direct comp, where Spencer Rattler fell from grace at a top school, went to a different one that was an easier offense that catered to him, and he looked better. So I'm just like, well, the Spencer Rattler has tools. And then now where we're at, we're year 2 of Spencer Rattler on the Saints, and we're disappointed that he's starting. Like that shouldn't happen. So that's where I'm at with Carson Beck. So
makes perfect sense.
I will say, okay, sorry.
Go ahead. You're good.
I felt like week 1, you probably agree, Jagger. Like he looked good. Like he looked solid. Quick decisions and got the team the win. But the 2025 is going to be huge for him. He went into last year's being the consensus QB1 kind of for the most part, and then just fell, obviously from grace, like you said. Hey, Garrett, by the way, you've been asking us our opinions. Like I want to know your opinions on some of these guys too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with Carson Beck, I feel very similar to you guys as well. Carson Beck is a player that, especially looking at it from a fantasy lens, and I'm always going to look at this from a fantasy lens because this is a fantasy show and we're trying to draft these guys. What's my best case scenario for Carson Beck? Best case scenario is, he's a guy that could throw for 3,500, maybe in a perfect year, 4,000 yards, but offers 0 rushing upside. I don't know that he's the best decision maker. Like there's a lot of things that could go wrong with there being no ceiling. And so that's the hard part is like, if I'm going to take a risk on a player, I want to take a risk on a guy that at least has a ceiling for me. And I just don't see the ceiling right now. There's other guys that I think are safer and that I'm willing to take a chance on because I know what I'm probably going to get. I just don't know what I'm going to get out of Carson Beck, but I do know that there's not much of a ceiling.
Exactly. That's like, it's a clear tier for me that Carson Beck, like right then, is just like, none of these guys can offer me anything in fantasy. And they have questions of what they can offer an NFL team. Like at best, you are Brock Purdy or Jared Goff. And that means you have to be in the perfect offensive system and throwing for 4,000 yards, 30 plus TDs. And I just don't think homie's got it. I don't think he's got it between the ears. And I don't think the NFL is going to love all his antics either. So.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to our top 5. Jared, we already heard your 5. We pulled it out of you. So we already got number 5. but give me your 5 through 1. Really curious to see who you got in the top spot.
I think I got one guy in here that everyone's gonna be like, what? But yeah, so I got Sam Leavitt at 5, Drew Allar at 4, Garrett Nussmeier at 3, I have Josh Hoover at 2, and LaNorris Sellers at 1.
Who is Josh
Ooh.
Hoover? Can we start there? That's the name I need to write down.
TCU's quarterback.
Okay.
I know that you have like 15 of his college football cards. I know that for sure.
I've been high on him for a while, man. Yeah, I got like
you have. Tell us why. Give us the glowing report on Hoover because he obviously some people are going to know his name. He played the other night against Bill Belichick's team, and that went very well for him and not so well for Bill Belichick. But tell us what you like about this kid.
Yeah, so I mean, he comes out of the Fort Worth, Texas area, and out of he won like the Landry Award coming out of that area, which is like the Heisman, and that area is a very high competition. So he does not have like that physical prowess. So he's only 6'2". He's listed at 6'2", but he's probably like 6'1", 200 pounds. So not like a huge guy. He's not going to walk off the bus and wow you. But so I think that led to him being like a little under recruited. He's not going to run like a 4.4, 4.5 type of guy. Ends up at TCU, and he sits under Max Duggan when they had that big run to the national championship that year. And then he took over as a starter midway through the next year and really just hasn't given it back. And from who he is as a prospect, I think he has the best arm talent out of this entire class. When you turn on the tape, like that dude just places the ball wherever he wants to. He throws such a good ball. And Sonny Dykes, like he coached Jared Goff, and then there's like one other guy that he coached, that's Nick Foles. And so he's had some good success. And he just raves about this kid and how he's the best thrower of the football that he's ever had. And it showed up. It showed up week 1 versus North Carolina. I mean, they made North Carolina
he dropped some dimes.
Look bad. Yeah, dude. And he's at the line of scrimmage, making audibles, like complete control of the offense. You can just tell like he knows where he's going for the football pre-snap. So I really encourage you guys to like turn on the tape and watch this kid. And I'm not the only one. I saw some articles like CBS had him rated now as the QB1 in one of the articles that I was reading. Another entity put him at QB5 after this week 1 performance. So he's had a lot of success at TCU, and I think he broke like a single game or the passing record last year at TCU. So yeah, man, I really like what this kid has as far as a passer goes, as far as between the ears goes, which is so important. And then he does have like some athleticism and playmaking ability to make people miss when he needs to in the backfield and make throws on the run and whatnot. So yeah, I like this kid a lot, and I think he's still undervalued clearly right now. But by the time the end of the year rolls around, like he's really going to rise up draft boards.
That's a sales pitch to me. I need to put in a request for tape for him, because like where I get tape from, like not even just here, like where you got to buy like a college tape, like drugs now to get it. Like
it's always been like that.
Yeah. It's like, I can't find Josh Hoover anywhere. I need to get some of that Hoover guy.
I know, man. No, yeah. Check it out. I can't wait to hear what you think.
Yeah.
Well, Jagger, why don't you give me your 5 through 1 now? Curious to see who you have there.
Yeah, and I think mine's going to be a little hot for where I have guys, but I've made adjustments to how I grade guys to how I think the NFL is going to move. Mm-hmm. Number 5, this is tentative because I genuinely think he shouldn't come out. It's Arch Manning. 4, Drew Allar. Number 3, and this is why I say it's hot, is LaNorris Sellers. 2, Nico Iamaleava. This again, why I say it's hot. And number 1 is Garrett Nussmeier.
I can see that.
A lot of my reasoning for this is NIL has made it beneficial for both the NFL and the college player at this point now, to where I don't believe the NFL needs to chase tools as much. And these guys should stay in college and learn learn how to play football, learn how to see various systems. Why I think Bo Nix played so well is he played in 4 different systems at a high level in difficult conferences. So he could come in right away in the NFL and have a leg up from a film and in the year between the years standpoint. And that's why someone like Garrett Nussmeier, I just think he's safe. And even only being 6'1", 205, the way he plays the football with confidence, he reminds me of a baby Joe Burrow. And I mean that both in like he's a smaller guy and just that he's not going to wow you with physical tools, but just knowing where the football needs to go. I think that's why he's an incredibly safe one. And I know, again, Nico being number 2's hot, but all the things that you saw, Jared, on tape, that happened at Tennessee. But the things I like is he's like, it's thinking about what he does well and working backward from there. He is an incredibly cool-headed and decisive person. When I watch him play, I see a lot of Jalen Hurts. That's why I see the inaccuracy. That's why I see all the things. But seeing a calm, collected person who is a slick runner, knows when to run, never feels like he's under pressure, even when he is, that's something that can't be coached. But that Tennessee Mickey Mouse system, it's hard for anyone to develop. And then he goes to UCLA. Like, it's just like they're barely a team, you know?
Yeah. I hope he stays another year. Like like same with Arch. Yeah. I agree. But I think what you said there about guys staying in school and like learning football and that being an advantage for Bo Nix, like was spot on, man. Like I couldn't agree with you more. I know Garrett, like you and Matt did, you guys did like a study on like starts, college starts, and like how that translates to fantasy success. And I forget like how many starts was it? 35.
35 is the number that we kind of came to. Is like guys that get over 35 starts, you feel really good about them. Under 35 starts, there's a few exceptions, and there's some good outliers even. But overall, you feel a lot safer with the guys that get over 35 starts in college.
Yeah, it's like everyone freaking out about Arch Manning. I'm like, yeah, he looked like a 20-year-old kid who's never seen an NFL defense. You know, like Ohio State is an NFL defense. I don't care who you talk about.
So
yeah, Patricia's there, man. I mean,
I encourage everyone to go watch. Like we've had Kurt Benkert on the show, and he did a really good breakdown of Arch's game versus Ohio State and like all 22. And man, it was bad. Like it was a bad game.
The first half was pretty atrocious, man.
Yeah, like, and it wasn't just missing throws. Like he was missing reads and you know, his footwork. He was moving into pressure and stuff. Like I don't know, just like you said, like he needs experience and he needs time. And I wonder if he was playing hurt, like the way he was throwing. Like I don't know. It was
weird how he dropped it.
It was not how he typically like used to throw. So I don't.
To me, as someone who's boxed in a ring before, it looked like fear, dog. Like that's just like he looked like he got hit in the mouth really early, and then he's like, "Oh, I still got to make decisions," and that's that's what it looked like to me, man. And then I think Steve Sarkisian got out coached because one of my biggest issues, I'm like, wow, he doesn't have a single route before the hash marks. Like there wasn't mesh concepts. Like there was a fast pass rush against man coverage, and they intentionally kept secondary back, and he didn't call plays or crossers in the middle. It was really alarming that, like, I was like, man, Arch is young, and Steve Sarkisian doesn't seem to want to even put any training wheels on him to help him out. So it was a lot.
On top of that too, I was surprised, and I don't know, I wouldn't think this is an Arch thing because he's been there at Texas long enough. You should know the system. They weren't getting guys in motion and getting them moving to be able to get easy throws, you know, where they, you know, outpace the defensive back or things like that. So it was a kind of a surprising system to me when you would think that against a team like that in a matchup like that they would pull out all the stops. And I don't know why they didn't. Maybe there was something behind the scenes that we're not privy to as to why they chose not to. Because of a capability or something, but I was very surprised by that.
Ohio State kind of did the same thing on offense on their side. So I don't know if it's like
they were very
early in the season, like that. It's, you know, we were both going to be here at the end of the year. We know that, like our team, I don't know, just throwing out theories, but yeah, I'm with you guys.
Hey, Nerd Herd, want to tell you about a show that we've been doing live on YouTube where we go over your teams and we talk about how to fix your broken roster. It's called Roster Rescue. We do it live every single Monday at noon Eastern time. And if you want to get a part of that, just head to our Dynasty Nerds homepage, go under the store tab, and you'll find Roster Rescue right there. Perfect opportunity to get your rosters in shape before the season or even in the middle of the season to make sure that you can win a championship. Let's get to one guy real quick that, I'll give my top 5 here real quick. At 5, I have Drew Allar. At 4, I have Arch Manning, so I still did keep him in the top 5. At 3, I'm trying to remember. Neither one of you guys might have had this guy inside your top 10. I had Cade Klubnik. Did neither one of you have him in?
He just missed it. He's 6 for me, and I have reasons. But for you to have him at
6,
3,
so he did go in your top 10 though.
Yeah. But
Okay.
you have him at 3. I get it. He's a toolsy guy.
Yeah, I've never been a Klubnik guy, man.
You're out on
every
him?
time I watch him. I'm just like college quarterback, and he's like okay. Like I don't see it. Like I just don't think he's very good.
Okay. I could get it. Like he has not
No
performed.
offense, Garrett.
No, it's totally. I have him at 3, but
Yeah.
that's more out of there's only 2 quarterbacks at this point that I really like. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
I hear you.
That's really the biggest part of all this is I don't see a huge difference between number 3 and number 7, 8. Like I see them very, very similar. But yes, he's a guy with a lot of the tools. He was obviously a big time prospect coming out, 5-star type of guy, does a lot of things. He shows a lot of raw ability. There's just some processing things and consistency things that are still just not there for him. And yes, sometimes you can learn those things over time, but that is one of the biggest concerns for me is I typically prefer the 2 biggest things that I want to see typically are they an accurate passer of the football and do they process quickly? And so that is a big concern with me with Klubnik is he processing everything quickly enough for the next level? And I don't know. But the problem is I have the same issue with Arch. I have the same issue with Drew Allar. Like a lot of these guys have a very similar problem right now for me.
Yeah, my issue with Drew Allar is like when I watched Fernando Mendoza, and I'm like, wow, he's just Timu Drew Allar, and Drew Allar can't even afford to be a cheaper version of himself. He's just like a statue, Like if that pressure comes, it's Jover, guys, because he can't move, but like he can make every throw, and it's hard to look at him at Penn State because like their best receiver that they've had, not including Tyler Warren, is Jahan Dotson. Like let's let that sink in a long time. It's been pretty barren then, and with Cade Klubnik, it's funny, Garrett. Like you see the same things, and it may be just what you value differently. But like my weaknesses for him needs to work on play progression. Homie does the whole like, there's my one read.
Yeah.
And then he'll do that for the whole time. And then he gets those happy feet. Once there's interior pressure, it all kind of collapses for him. And that's something that's hard to get coached out of people. But again, when it's a perfect scenario, you're like, wow, there's Cade Klubnik, 5-star recruit,
Yeah. Because it's a nice quick release that he has of the football. It's very slick. It's very smooth. Like it looks the part, but it's only at times. And that's the trickiest part with it.
What was your top 5 again? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So Drew Allar, Arch Manning,
You had
Cade
Allar at
Klubnik.
5.
Mhm.
Okay, you're going up.
Yep. And then my last 2, I have at 2, I have Garrett Nussmeier and then LaNorris Sellers. So I think you had Sellers at 1, right, Jared?
Yeah, I did. And I had Nussmeier at 3, and I have Josh Hoover, which I wasn't expecting you guys to have in your top 10. But
I have LaNorris Sellers at 3.
Okay.
And like I said, it's adjustments.
Let's talk about LaNorris Sellers right now. So 2 of us have him at 1. You have him at 3, Jagger. Obviously, so we're all high to some extent on him. Jared, for you, what makes you willing to say right now, if I had to draft today, he would be the top quarterback for me?
because we play fantasy football, right? Like, and he's really the only threat here as a runner. He's like a Josh Allen, Cam Newton type of guy. Like he's a 6'3", 240, and he runs violently when he needs to. Like he's a weapon as a runner. So that's always going to be a nice floor for you in fantasy football. But even aside from that, like I think he does show some strong capabilities to like make the passes. I think he's still developing there. And honestly, I think he needs time, like definitely still needs time. And I think he should even stay in school again
Yes.
after this season and continue to develop, because I think if he does that and puts it all together, like then we're talking about a true, like, I'm excited for this draft class because of this guy type of guy.
I agree. I think the only two quarterbacks who I feel good about leaving, and by good, I mean, I just don't think Drew Allar can get any better than he is now. I actually like him a lot, but like, I just like what can he get better at? Can he get faster? I don't think so. So like it's him and Garrett Nussmeier, but LaNorris Sellers for me, it's the internal clock. And the longer I do this, it's the same thing. When you have these hyper athletes who can make every throw, they have these ungodly arms. That's a feature and a bug because they depend on that, and it works in high school. It really works in high school. College, it still works. But when you get to the NFL, it doesn't work anymore because they're all pretty decent athletes at that level, or they're all very good elite process and defensive players. And it's being on time and being on target. He's on target sometimes, but he doesn't have the internal clock. So that's why we saw against Virginia Tech, he ate a lot of sacks because he doesn't have that tempo. And that's just something that I think only comes with experience. You know, he needs to think 1, 2, I need to be going with the ball somewhere. Either I need to use my legs or the ball needs to be out of my hands. Because there were some easy throws that he just didn't use because he was waiting on the big play. And that,
or he left too early. Like,
or he left too early.
Down. Like he goes to run too quickly sometimes, or I think he should stay in the pocket and get to his next read. Cause I saw that too, where he was missing guys. And I think that's just part of development. Yeah.
Stay 4 years in college, guys. It's good for life.
Yeah. You're still, they're getting paid now. So there's no, especially this guy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And he reminds me, he's not quite the same athlete, but I see some similar traits between a Jalen Milroe from Alabama last year. We have a guy with an absolute cannon of an arm. Both guys, absolute cannon. What I want to see is, can he be consistent with his touch? Can he win games just by throwing the football? Because I know he's a good athlete. He's not as good as Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe was a better athlete than he was, but he's in that same archetype. But can he win games by passing the football? That's what I'm not sure about yet. And that's what I'm kind of still waiting to see on LaNorris Sellers. But if I'm drafting for fantasy football, I've got to take the guy that can offer that dual threat ability, the guy that at least has that ceiling. Will it pan out? I don't know. He could be an Anthony Richardson, or he could be a Jalen Hurts. Like, I just don't know how that's all going to come together. So I'm with you guys. I hope he does go back to school, take some time, which is going to hurt this year's draft class. But for his development long-term, it would be the best.
The question I wrote down is like, he could be the answer to what if Anthony Richardson had experience? Like, because like right now he already has more experience than Anthony Richardson, if you really think about it. So like one more year, you're like, wow, this guy knows how to recover too, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get to really the last guy that we need to talk about here. We have them all of us have them within the top 3. Jagger, you have them at 1. I have them at 2. Jared, you had him at 2 or 3, Nussmeier?
3.
3. So 1, 2, 3 on Garrett Nussmeier. Arguably the most pro-ready of this group. Is a little bit of a smaller guy, but he doesn't necessarily play that way. So Jagger, you had him at 1. Give me why he's the guy that you're willing to put at the top of the list and go bat for.
All the reasons why I think LaNorris Sellers should stay in school are all the reasons why I like Garrett Nussmeier. That's just, it's that plain and simple. I don't notice his size because usually size matters because you get more leverage on the football to deliver passes over the field. I don't see that with him. He's a lot like Baker in that like 6'1", 205, where that doesn't matter. They can still get the ball where it needs to go, but he's always in control and on time. And there's one particular play that I just saw where he does all the little things where he can step up in the pocket and bait in a defender and then throw it to his outlet to the side where he's changing arm slots. Just elite stuff that he's already doing. As against Clemson where he pulled that game. And Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier are the exact reasons why I have them ranked so aggressively apart, because they have the same amount of passes and virtually opposite stats. Where we hit the golden number, Garrett Nussmeier threw almost 66% of his throws. Klubnik didn't hit that, and he had one interception. Garrett Nussmeier didn't have multiple touchdowns, but in a gritty win, he threw for 66% of the passes and a touchdown, just looked efficient. And my comp for him is so boring. It's Jared Goff for Brock Purdy. That works now, guys. Bo Nix, we're like, Sean Payton and Bo Nix, but what is he doing now? He's lighting it up. I think this is how the NFL is going to adjust. I just need a guy who can operate an offense. All the other stuff is gravy that I can work on later. But right now, can you come in and make a pass? Can you process? Nussmeier does that. So I think, Browns get ready to learn Nussmeier, baby, because he probably is going to be your quarterback.
It sounds so boring.
I'm sorry, it does.
But I agree with you. Like that's what I wrote down for him was like high football IQ, really good at processing, good pocket presence, knows where he's going with the football. So I see no fault for you putting him at number one, because I think he's going to be this whole year like in contention for QB1 in this class.
And it's nice to see a guy too doing it in the SEC. When you have your quarterback playing, that's where it's a little harder with some of these other quarterbacks. I want to see these guys playing in the SEC. I want to see him playing in the Big Ten. I want to see him up against the closest thing that they're going to have to NFL defenses in college. And so when you get to see these guys play a bunch of first-round defensive backs and a bunch of first-round defensive ends and guys like that, it makes you feel just that much better about their ability to translate to the next level. It's not because they were beating up on inferior competition. They were beating the best possible guys out there in the college game. So, guys, that wraps up our first ever college football show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're coming back each and every week with a new episode talking about the college game and how it's going to impact your dynasty fantasy football teams in the future. Jared, anything before we get out of here?
What's the next show we're doing?
Next one, we have top 10 running backs.
All right, cool. See you guys then.
Jagger, anything for you?
No, guys, I won't be at the next one, but I'll be after that. I'm assuming wide receivers, which I like better than running backs, so I'm excited about. But if you guys want more detailed, like I said, I've written scouting notes, strengths and weaknesses for all 10 of these QBs that we talked about, except Josh Hoover, since Jared Wackley just dropped that knowledge on us. Go check that out. It should be dropping today.
All right. We
Sweet.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to everything we're doing, both on YouTube and then, of course, the podcast as well. We'll see you guys next week.